Welcome back to Are You High Right Now? DJ, are you high right now?
I am.
What'd you smoke today? Is it different than what you smoked last week?
It is. This is actually a fellow patient gave me this. He grew this at home. I don't know what the hell it is.
I thought you were saying that was the name of it at first. I was like,
No.
oh, that's kind of a cool name. Fellow patient.
A fellow patient. He grows at home and was super proud of some of the work that he did. So he wanted to show it off to Josh and I. So Josh and I got to have some, and it's really good.
Yeah, that's like definitely probably a high perk of your job, right?
Getting
a lot of
I
weed.
get a lot of free weed.
Got to test it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not even testing. It's just like, I don't know. I've never been given so much free weed in my life, and I've
I think because people do want your like genuine opinion on what they're, because if they can impress you, then they're happy with themselves.
I don't feel like I'm anyone to be or to impress though.
I don't think. Well, as someone who runs like a bigger facility.
Yeah, I suppose.
But yeah. But you're smoking out of the same little thing.
Oh yeah.
Your little packs.
Yeah,
you were just saying that that's like your favorite thing you've ever bought.
It is. I've bought a lot of devices. My wife will vouch for that. I've probably bought 20 over the past couple of years of just random batteries
and I don't know
cartridges.
I never know the difference. So I'm always like, oh, we need another one, but I don't know. This must be different.
The reason why I always get a new one is because, one, the battery starts to die. Like, eventually it doesn't hold the charge for very long.
Okay.
And then, two, it just all out breaks.
Yeah.
And this thing, it's called the PAX Plus, and I have known about it for a couple of years. I just didn't want to spend $200 on it.
Yeah.
Recently, I decided just to do it, and it was the best decision ever. It's actually a vaporizer, so there's no like combustion. You're not burning anything. You're not burning the flower. You're not burning your concentrates. It's just heating it up just enough to where it gets that THC into a vapor, and to the point to where you can inhale that, and that's all you're getting. So you're not getting all the residual plant matter, smoke, etc. So if
and hopefully it keeps like the battery stays good on that one because.
Yep. Well, and I've been told a friend of mine had an issue with his, and the customer service, from what I've been told, is really, really good. And they sent him a brand new one within a couple of days. They let him keep the old one, brand new one, sent him a bunch of cool stuff with it. So overall, I'm actually really, really impressed with the company. So if you're looking for a new little device, PAX Plus. It is a little expensive, but it's worth it for sure.
Cool. I know I always say like talk about our weeks, and then we literally have nothing to share. So is there any news? Anything exciting you want to share?
Took down some flower. I mean, it's pretty exciting. We have 6 new strains coming down the line. So that's pretty exciting. That doesn't happen very often.
That is exciting.
Yeah.
Little update on my fantasy books. I finished Fourth Wing and then Iron Flame. That series so far.
That's the first 2 books that you were reading?
Yep. Started ACOTAR, which is A Court of Thorns and Roses, which is like a very popular fantasy book. And this is interesting, but the first book of the series is known for not being very good. Like people say like, yeah, the first book's not great. You got to push through. And I'm almost done with the first book, and I'm like, you guys, when is this getting better? And it's okay, but I'm going to push through. But I've just been wondering, like, how are so many people invested in a series where the first book
is so bad,
is trash? And they all, like, who picked up the second book after the first one? If you didn't have tons of people saying, no, it's the best series ever, you got to keep going.
You really got to hook me in if you're going to want me to pick up another book.
Well, the fact that I'm 350 pages in, I'm like, when are we getting somewhere here?
And
I'm just kidding. It's not that bad.
That was the series that Paul was talking about,
yeah,
by the way.
I'm still interested in it. It's just not as good as Fourth Wing. And then the other thing I was going to say is that I'm sick again. You can probably hear from my voice. I don't know.
We talked shit and we got hit.
Yes, we got hit. I think it's got to be karma for one of the first episodes saying, if you get sick all the time, like got to take care of yourself. And I don't think we accounted for a child that licks absolutely everything. The most disgusting things. Remotes and phones are his favorite, and that's got to be one of the grossest things to lick. So me and him are just constantly sick, constantly coughing. So hopefully our immune systems will be really good at the end of this year, but I've never been sick this many times in 1 year.
Yeah,
it's frustrating.
I've been sick more in the last like 3 months than I've been in the last 5 years.
Yeah. All right, so let's get right into it. This week's episode is about worst roommate stories. What's like your experience with roommates? Any good, bad stories?
Most of my roommate experiences have been pretty good. I've always lived with, or most of the time I've lived with close friends. So, and I've never really had like a big falling out with any friends due to like
Living
roommate
together.
drama or anything. I will say, when I was fresh out of high school, it was the summer after we graduated, I had ended up moving out of my parents' house and I moved in to a friend of mine.
It was
And
older,
He was
right?
older, yeah.
Yeah.
He was probably 22 or 23 at the time.
And you're freshly
He was
18.
20. He would have been 21 because I think he was only 3 years older than me.
Okay.
And then, but everybody else in the house was 22, 21, 23, so on and so forth. So in this house, it's a pretty nice house. It was decent. It was definitely a party house, but there was 5 of us, me being the youngest. And I was still trying to play baseball. I was still trying to do things through the summer. And these guys would go to the bar and close it down on a Tuesday night and bring the whole fucking bar back to our house. So then it would turn into a giant rager upstairs and downstairs. My room's upstairs, which that was where the main partying usually happened. So it was just always brutal. I mean, I remember there's a few times where I just fucking chewed everybody out and left just because I was so pissed.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, I loved living there. Don't get me wrong. It was a fun ass house.
I was gonna say not like you were someone who's like, don't be drinking them.
No, I love to party.
Studying upstairs.
I
like,
loved to
if
party.
anything, the bad influences were probably just you're like, okay, yeah.
It was just excessive. I mean, there was 5 of us. We all had different work schedules, so it's like we all kind of partied at different times and stuff, and sometimes it fell on Tuesday. Like I said, I don't regret living there. I loved everybody in that house. I had a fucking ball.
I think guys must be better about living with friends and not having drama.
Why do you say that?
I just think girls can.
There was definitely drama in the house. I just stayed out of it.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, never mind then. I just think girls, you always hear of like, don't live with your best friends because you might not be friends by the end of it.
I mean, there was some girl fighting. Not girl fighting. There was guys fighting over girls.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely plenty of drama in the house. I
Yeah.
just stayed I was the young buck in my corner.
Yeah, you didn't really care about the drama. My first experience with a roommate was college, like going and living in a dorm.
Oof.
So obviously being paired with someone that I'd never met before, which is such an interesting experience if you think about it.
They should really let you. Well, maybe not.
I think
It's a good way to.
Well, and I think maybe if you had, I guess I don't know how it works. I didn't have like a best friend going. So I didn't have anyone that I was like, room me with this person.
Yeah.
And I was kind of excited at the idea of like,
Random.
just pair me with a random. What if we become best friends? Like, I feel like you see movies and stuff where they become best friends. But it's so weird to think of like, you're going to be put in this tiny ass room with a stranger that you don't know. This is your first time like living away from home and you live in the teeny tiny box. And I smoked my head on the ceiling every morning because that's how close my bunk was to the ceiling. And my roommate, she was really sweet. We definitely were not friends. She stayed out pretty late. I didn't. So she would come home at like 2 or 3 in the morning. And then I remember like she would have class at 8 the next day.
Jesus.
And I remember I would hear her alarm and wake up and look over and she would hop off her bunk, throw on her backpack and leave. That was it. That's how she got ready for class. And I went to SDSU
That's disgusting.
I know. I went to SDSU my first year and there's like hobo days there. And I only went that first year when I was there before I transferred. But she had a bunch of friends come stay. So I think she had like, sorry, I'm so congested. She had like 6 friends come stay in our dorm room. So I woke up in the morning and there was just drunk people like all over the floor, all over the futon. And I remember like hopping off my bunk and I went and sat in the hallway and ate breakfast. I was like, yeah, this is not my thing. So another roommate situation I had. So I had 2 girls living with me and we all, I think, just kind of found each other like on social media. So none of us were friends moving in together, but we were in a house and it was a pretty nice house, like 3 bedroom, 2 bath, cute part of town. And one of the girls, okay, I'm trying to think of how I say this without being a total bitch. Both of them were really great. None of us, we were not great friends. It's not like we hung out, whatever. We were just roommates. But one of them, she had this habit of like, she would go find stuff for free at garage sales and just bring it back to the house and just choose that she was going to decorate it. And she'd be like, well, it was free. And me and the other girl, like, just because it's free doesn't mean you take it. Like, so we'd have the most random shit in our house. And I was just not about that. I'm like, I'd rather it be nice and bare and clean than have some random
I can understand
junk that's free. She
was very like cold.
She was interesting. Her social skills were
She was very cold.
lacking.
And it takes a lot for me to say that.
Yeah. Also, I think some basic common sense with living were maybe missing, where like she would do her laundry and put so much soap that it would overflow, like with bubbles every time.
Oh.
And she'd be like, I didn't do anything. Like, okay, well, everybody else knows how to do laundry without it overflowing. And then like she would mop the floors, but she wouldn't like sweep or vacuum first. So she'd just be mopping like dust and dirt around. So I'd like come back and you could see like the mop marks of like dirt. Like, and I'm like, did you sweep first? She's like, I tried. I'm like, so yes or no?
You tried?
You either swept or you didn't.
Doesn't really make sense.
You either swept or you didn't.
But
Anyways,
overall, that was a pretty...
It wasn't bad. It
Yeah,
wasn't bad.
yeah.
I just think in general, like, I don't know. And it's obviously so
We all have our
expensive to live by yourself. I don't think I ever could have afforded to live by myself.
No fucking way.
But I was very happy when I could move in with you, because at least with you, I could tell you, I felt comfortable enough to tell you, like, hey, I need to do this or whatever. It's a little different when there's roommates. I feel like it's hard to be like, hey, you need to clean up after yourself. And you kind of just expect that people are going to clean up after themselves. Like, you're an adult, you're living with other people, but that's not always the thing. And some people just wait for you to pick up after them. And I don't know.
I will say, like, when I lived on Adonia, or was that what it was?
Yeah.
That was a pretty kick-ass house, and I had 3 roommates.
Yep.
2 of which were never there. Chris.
2 of which. Chris was there.
No, he wasn't. He was
always traveling
he was
for work.
gone. He'd be gone for 3-4 weeks at a time.
Yeah, I forgot that.
Jordan stayed at his girlfriend's house. Nick was batching it.
Yeah.
He was jumping around.
Yeah.
And so realistically, we just had this house to myself.
Yeah, well, and I was there a lot
Yeah.
too, where it's like I felt like I was one of the roommates sometimes.
Well, no, exactly, because we'd alternate. I mean, I think we were pretty good about going back and forth, and then where I was going with it was like the whole cleaning and dishes and stuff. I always felt like even when the roommates were around, like our house was always pretty clean, but even when the roommates were around, like I always felt like we kept that place relatively clean.
You guys did pretty good, I think, yeah. And I felt like, honestly, with all my living situations, I felt like we kept it pretty clean too. I never had a roommate that was like disgusting or
I've
anything
seen
like
some
that.
shit.
Oh my gosh, some of these stories we're reading today, I'm like, I could never.
I had some friends in Oregon that lived like goddamn pigs.
Oh, gross.
Goddamn pigs, living in closets and shit.
You know, it makes me think of like when you go to,
I guess it was college though.
I was going to say like college parties. Like if you go to like a guy's college house and there's a party there, I remember walking in and being like, you've got to be kidding. Like, who is living in
frat
this
houses
shit?
are so fucking gross.
And I don't even frat. I don't even think I was
Disgusting.
even in frat houses. I'm talking like normal houses where it was just, it's just so gross. So gross.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, you're right in that you and like your guy roommates, you were probably the minority in that you guys were always pretty clean. Whereas I think sometimes college guys are not.
Well, Taylor was my roommate at the time, and we always kept our house very clean.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I don't think that's always very normal for guys that age. But I mean, that's the same could say for girls.
Why is that though? Because like
they're used to their moms picking up after them. No. I'm not saying in your situation. I'm saying that's what a lot of it is.
my mom definitely has picked up after me. I'm not gonna discredit her of that, but I definitely had to I remember vividly Sundays, windows open, music loud,
Yeah.
smell of pine sol, and your room better be
But-
fucking clean.
But you are not dirty by any means.
No.
But you're not like OCD clean.
No,
Always pick up after yourself.
I'm pretty good about picking up after myself.
Yeah. I do the majority of the cleaning.
You do 100% of the cleaning.
Yeah.
But
you're not bad. I'm not saying that.
But I pick up after myself.
Yeah. I'm just saying it's not like you're like spick and span. Perfect. Let's be real here.
No, I understand that.
Let's get into some listener stories. We
All
have 5 listener stories today. The first one, I have a few worst roommate stories, but I'll just start with my current one. I live with 4 others, and one of them can't seem to do shit in the house. She never cleans her dishes. She always has her boyfriend over. The water and electricity bill keeps going up. There's tons more, sadly. So kind of vague, but just in general. Maybe, 4 roommates.
Have you expressed that you want her to do stuff around the house? Because some people are just oblivious to life.
Also, just five girls in a house, that's a lot of personalities to navigate. And I agree with like the dishes. That's got to be like a huge thing. You have to pick up after yourself. You have to clean up the kitchen. That's gross. Always having her boyfriend over. I mean, I always had you over, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think you have to
We didn't really
respect
hang
each
out,
other's
though, there,
space.
though.
No, if you were over, like we went to my room. We didn't. It's not like we
What did we do?
took over the living room.
We
and
did hang
just-
out at my house most of the time, huh?
Your house, yeah. Because at your house, I felt like we could hang out like in the living room. Whereas mine, we didn't. We'd make dinner and then
we
we
had
just
two,
like.
and we had 2 living rooms, so that was because we had the downstairs living room and the upstairs
we
living
didn't.
room. We never went downstairs, but that's where, like,
Right.
if Nick was home, he'd be down there. So
Yeah.
we would always have the upstairs living room to ourselves.
Yeah. But anyways, I was just gonna say, I think it depends. Like, definitely make sure your roommates are okay with having a boyfriend over. But I think if you're being like respectful and you're an adult, you can't really say you're not allowed to have your boyfriend over. Next one. I was away when, oh my gosh, this is so funny. I was away when my roommate accidentally let 2 doves inside. She didn't know what to do, so she let them hang out inside for 2 days before calling for help. When I got back, we had a good laugh, but I saw that they pooped all over the couch and said, "There's pigeon poop on the couch." She said, "It's dove poop."
And clean it up. So she didn't clean
2
it.
days?
So I would have shot those little fuckers.
I don't know, actually.
Doves?
Two
I
doves.
can't. I don't think I can. You can shoot doves. I think that's illegal.
I wasn't going to say that I would shoot them. I don't know what I would do, but I don't think I would just be going about my life with 2 birds in the house
I'd probably
for
get
multiple days.
I'd probably get my fishing net, and I would probably catch them. You're
I
right.
would call for help.
I probably wouldn't shoot them with a BB gun. That's what I was thinking.
No.
Just shoot them with a BB gun and throw them away.
I'm glad you were able to get a good laugh out of that, but I would be grossed out about birds pooping all over my furniture.
I'd be
I
grossed
don't-
out about birds in my house in general.
Yeah. Oh, there's got to be so many little just diseases and stuff that birds carry. I don't know about I don't know. Right?
I don't know.
They got to eat some gross stuff. Okay, this one is right up your alley. Roommate forgot to shut the oven off after he finished cooking. He left the house and we came home to the oven smoking and the house being over 90 degrees. Was this you?
I'm pretty bad about leaving the burner on or stovetop on and or oven.
We have had multiple instances. One of the times years ago, I was out of town and you had said like
I was hammered.
you were drunk and then you got home and what you decide you were going to make like a chicken patty or something.
I want some chicken sandwiches.
Yeah, so
I
chicken
threw some-
patties.
These fire ass chicken patties in there, and I was like, all right, cool. And the next thing you know, I woke up. My dog woke me up, and
It was like 5 a.m, wasn't it?
it was like 4 a.m. It was hazy in my house, and I had no idea what.
And the
fuck
chicken
had
patties were black
happened.
little
They
hockey
were fucking
pucks.
tiny. They looked like Oreos by the time.
Yeah, you
It was-
were lucky
Yeah,
that
I know,
Frazier
I
woke
know,
you up.
I know.
And anyways, I think you had called me and said, so when you get home, the house might smell a little bit. And it smelled like freaking burnt popcorn for a week probably. And then more recently, do you remember this? We laid Jaden down for a nap. And I'm not like really a napper, but I was like, oh, I'm really tired. I'm going to take a nap. I took a nap. You're like, I'm going to make a pizza. But then you fell asleep too. And I didn't know you were going to fall asleep. And so thankfully I had an alarm and I woke up and I was like, Did you get the pizza? Like it was still, the oven was, no, I don't know if you set a timer. Either way.
I think I
it
did.
was
I did set a
pretty-
timer,
pretty
but
black.
it was. I tried eating it.
Right. I'm just saying
Wasn't
so
very
many
good. Wasn't
situations
very
where,
good.
or even, I don't mean to like just keep harping on you, but you finish something on the stove and you leave the stove top on.
That's why I like having gas. It goes black. I mean, it's red and then it goes black and then it comes back on
It's
and back.
just
No,
something
it's
you
bullshit.
gotta remember to shut stuff off. You're gonna start our house on fire.
I like having gas so I can fucking see the fire and flame.
Oh, but I'm glad in this story, I am glad you guys did not burn the house down. That is scary, especially if he left the house. That is really scary. So, okay, this one, I think that someone sent in an anonymous little message, and I don't think the first one came through because I got one that just said 2 of 2, and I never got 1 of 2, and the message before that was like an hour before. So I don't think it's a continuation of the one I just read. So this one says 2 of 2. My room was also next to the TV room, and I fell asleep most nights to the sound of this guy watching hentai/tentacle porn.
Is that like anime?
Maybe.
Hentai?
Yeah, I don't know what is tentacle
Look
porn.
it up. I don't know. Not tentacle.
I do not want to look it
Not
up.
tentacle porn. A hentai. Look up hentai.
Okay. Oh, well, hentai is okay. No, I'm not looking any further into this. The first thing is Pornhub. Oh, okay. It says hentai is a style of Japanese pornographic anime and manga. So anyways, anime porn, that is interesting. So I don't know what the first part of that.
Tentacle porn?
No, I'm just saying because that was 2 of 2. I don't know what the first part of the story was, unfortunately. So if that was your story, write it in. We'll read it next time. But then there's a third message that came in that I think was also connected to that must have been related to the first part because it says, ooh, one more thing about the hacker uncle roommates. One of them hacked our phones and had our locations displaying on a screen in the home without our consent. The screen would announce things like, Laura is at Safeway. There were also hidden cameras and so much other weird shit. That's just scary.
Wait, that was a listener
Yeah.
entry?
Yeah.
Holy shit. I want to hear about that.
I
Tell
know.
us.
I know. So I'm sorry that other one did not come in. I
That's
looked
fucking
and
creepy.
yeah. So tell us the rest of
that's
that story
another
because
thing.
that sounds really scary.
I wanted an episode about people's experiences in hotels and if they've ever found like the
Or Airbnbs, like little
Airbnbs
cameras.
and cameras and
Oh, that's
sketchy
so
shit.
scary.
We should just have an episode called Sketchy Shit.
What's the I think maybe the movie's called like The Rental. I don't know if you watched it with me. I could be way wrong on the name, but it's basically a group of friends that they go rent an Airbnb. No, it's like a group of friends that they rent an Airbnb up in the hills and they find a camera and there was like the Airbnb. I don't know if he's like the renter, if he's like the maintenance guy or whatever. Oh shoot, I shouldn't tell. I don't want to spoil
What about
it.
that other one where they're like the world was ending that we watched? That was really good. Where they're like
World was ending.
Airbnb, they're at like an Airbnb and then the owners show up and say,
That was not really good. That
What
was
was
weird
that?
as shit. That was just a weird movie.
I
What
thought it was
was
pretty
that
good.
called? I don't know. It was like a newer one on Netflix, but that is scary though. I hate the thought of someone recording you without your consent. It's really creepy. This one, just the little funny one. I knew we'd get one like this. It says, I currently have a roommate who lives rent-free, doesn't help clean up, and eats everything. He's my dog.
yeah,
That's
We got
pets,
two- we got two
pets
of
and a
them.
kid. Yeah.
2 of them. We just took them to the vet. They're expensive, man. Animals are expensive.
They're so expensive. We went for like the normal yearly
Like
checkup.
rabies. I think rabies is every 3 years and
Really, because the last time I took them, they needed shots too, and I don't remember which one. I could have swore they needed rabies last time, and it was last year.
well, I know that Conrad needed. I don't know how it works, but they might have just got me.
Either way, it was $200 for like a basic yearly checkup. Like, holy shit.
Mm-hmm.
We maybe need like health insurance.
I don't think that's it.
It is a thing, but it's probably stupid expensive for what they might not even help with much. Okay, so this one, I think these ones are now some good Reddit stories.
Okay.
I had a roommate who absolutely refused to buy toilet paper. After weeks of her stealing ours, the other three of us started hiding it so she would be forced to buy her own. Instead, she started taking heaps of napkins from restaurants and stealing rolls of our paper towels. One night, we all went out to dinner, came home, and the entire basement was flooded because she backed up the toilet with God only knows how much shit that shouldn't even be flushed. That, and she would keep piles of old food laying around her room. Never did laundry. Most disgusting human being I've ever met. That is so frustrating.
It's gross.
Like, okay, buying toilet paper, it's not a fun thing to buy. Like, it's pretty expensive. Same with paper towels. I hate when I'm like, oh my God, I got to go buy this stuff because it's expensive. But especially if you're living with other people and maybe you buy your own, I don't know. But if you're sharing a bathroom, like, you got to take turns buying that shit or pitch in.
So when I was in that house with there was 1, 2, 3, there was 5 of us in the house. Yeah, 4 of the roommates. We all just had our own TP stashes in our rooms.
That didn't get like annoying? Did you have to remember to like grab a roll every time you went to the bathroom?
No, because we all liked different toilet paper.
Okay. So you guys were like
And
some
then
high maintenance.
during the party, like we'd have like usually when we would
What
have
about
like
girls? You would have girls over and they'd
yeah,
have toilet
but
paper?
listen, we'd have a get together and then we'd all talk about, all right, who's got the toilet paper upstairs, who's got the toilet paper downstairs, and we'd get the rooms or we'd get the bathrooms with toilet paper and stuff, and
That sounds like more work than just
it wasn't.
having them stocked with toilet
It
paper.
wasn't.
Okay.
Some people use more than others, it's just
Yeah.
easier to do it that way.
But
And there was a lot of us.
putting stuff down I'm always so scared of that, backing up the pipes. I don't do that. I'm just saying like when people like flush tampons and stuff they're not supposed to. I'm like, you're not supposed to flush that shit.
Yeah.
Destroy the pipes. Next one. I had a roommate who would attempt to leave unjustified, scathing, passive-aggressive notes for just everyone. Our apartment neighbors, cars parked outside, and even our landlady. The kind of notes with overly polite language, underlines, and randomly capitalized letters. Always written in red marker. Always rude enough to get the shit beaten out of her. Always signed from both of us. That right there, that last line, that is...
Speaking
you little
for me,
bitch.
yeah, don't you dare.
No.
Don't you dare.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. There's more to it. It says, I spent that year following her around and removing the notes as quickly and quietly as possible.
New roommate.
Yeah, I think it's hard for me because I'm not good at confrontation. So part of me can see like, oh, sometimes it's easier to write a note. I think I even had times with roommates where I would write a note and be like, if I left the house, like, hey, please do your dishes or something. I don't remember. I don't think I did that often. But I think sometimes it is easier to be like, oh, I'm just going to write a note instead of actually confronting them. But I also think it's kind of like the coward way out of it. Like, just talk. Just say what you're thinking. Because if you get a passive aggressive note, I think that's way more frustrating than someone just pulling you aside and saying, hey, would you mind like doing your dishes? Like, I've noticed you've left dishes in the sink. Yeah, what do you think about the note writing?
Probably note would probably piss me off.
Yeah.
Just come talk to me. I'd much rather you talk to me about issues than you just
Leave a note.
or yeah.
Yeah. I just think it's so funny that she signed it from both of you.
That'd piss me off.
That is a crime.
Yeah.
I had a roommate in college who could only fall asleep if he watched Disney movies at night. I had to listen to them every night for hours trying to sleep. And now I hate The Lion King with a passion of 1,000 burning suns. And then,
Disney?
so there was a comment on this one that said, well, my roommate had to fall asleep to horror movies, so I would have preferred Disney movies. I'm like, oh my God, that's fucked
Fucking
up.
psycho. I like to fall asleep to The Office.
Yeah, I don't like to fall asleep to a TV at all, but
You've learned to love it.
But I don't love it. I've learned to tolerate it. But I can see, for me, it wouldn't be Disney movies. But I like falling asleep to a sitcom, like The Office, Friends, something that's very like lighthearted. You don't have to pay attention. It's okay if you fall asleep and an entire season goes by. So I maybe understand that for a Disney movie. Like maybe that's like their comfort show that helps them fall asleep. But horror movies?
Psycho.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, no.
Absolutely
That's
not.
a red flag.
This is like off topic, but you're not like a big horror movie fan. And
Depends.
I love scary movies.
I like horror movies when they're
You like a different kind of horror than me, actually. You like gore.
I'm a gory
See,
guy.
and I'm not a gore. I like anything else, but I don't want to see the blood or
Like
whatever.
Rob Zombie movies. Oh my god, I think it's A House of a Thousand Corpses. We've got Devil's Rejects. You've got 31. You've got
See, and I've never-
Halloween. You got two
Yeah,
of the
ooh.
Halloweens. Oh goodness.
The Halloween ones I hate. The other ones I haven't even like heard of. But one of my favorite podcasts is Too Scary Didn't Watch, and it's three girls. One of them likes scary movies, the other two don't. But they're like always curious about like these new scary movies coming out and like what the plot is. So a girl who loves scary movies watches it, and then she retells like this is what happened. And the other girls are like scared, but then they're like, oh, we didn't actually have to watch it. Now we learned what happened. Anyways, I thought it'd be kind of fun when it comes to Halloween to do like a Too Scary Didn't Watch inspired episode where we could have someone on who doesn't like scary movies.
Or who's obsessed with them.
Or who's obsessed with them. Yeah, we could do that too. But so I just love that podcast. I don't know why even that sounds kind of psycho to love that, but I could listen to them recap scary movies all day long. And one of them that got me started was the movie Hereditary, which is, if you've seen it, it's pretty terrifying. There's some really gross, fucked up shit in that movie. But when you listen to it, you're like, oh, that doesn't sound that bad because I'm not actually seeing it. So then it makes it not as scary to go and watch the movie. Anyways, that just reminded me. I think that'd be a fun kind of episode.
So would
you be up for that?
You like them spoiling the movie so it's not as scary when it happens? Because
It's hard because normally I don't like something spoiled. But I think like if you were to watch a movie with me, then I'd be like, okay, yeah, let's watch it. I'm excited to be like the jump, whatever. But you don't always want that. So if I'm going to watch a scary movie by myself, I feel like I kind of need a heads up of like, when is scary stuff happening?
Some of the scary movies are just not my jam.
I know they're not, and that's fine.
It's all right though.
And sometimes I will be curious about a movie and then I'll listen to the recap and they'll be like, oh, this was the best movie ever. So then I'm like excited to watch it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, that was a tangent, but this next one. A friend of mine needed a roommate in a house where he already held a lease. I moved in and paid him rent instead of adding my name to the lease. I lived there for about 3 months and it was great. He was always cleaning, literally always. It seemed pretty great until I came home from work one day. There was a pink note stuck to the front door that said we were being evicted because we hadn't paid rent in 3 months. Turns out that cleaning was what he liked to do while high on meth. It all worked out though. I talked with the landlady and she kicked him out and I took over the lease.
At least it worked out.
It did. So
He was just spending your rent money
he
on
was
meth.
just spending your money.
That's a typical drug addict.
So I don't know anything about meth. But I gotta say, cleaning gotta be one of the better side effects. Not side effects, but I would say most people are not doing something as productive as
I
cleaning.
mean, you got to think that meth is Adderall. Adderall's meth, essentially.
Okay. I don't know anything about it.
It's like a couple molecules different than it's an amphetamine is what
But
Adderall is.
don't you think you would notice if your roommate was high on meth?
No, there's functioning meth addicts. There's functioning meth doctors, nurses.
Really? That
100%.
don't look?
No,
Because I
not
feel
at
like
all.
you always see like
I
those
actually-
posters of like people who were on meth and they look so rough.
So I actually did like a dive into this because Vice did like a news coverage story on it. And they actually had all these different people and these different professions that were everyday users of meth that were completely functioning.
Oh, that's kind of
Like,
scary.
and they were doctors, nurses, lawyers. I mean, they were everybody. And they just do a minuscule amount to where it doesn't affect them to the point to that. I don't know.
Maybe, but like, how can you control that well enough?
I
Can
thought it
you
was crazy.
imagine like going into surgery and you find out that your surgeon is on meth?
What if he was on Adderall?
Well, yeah, I guess I don't.
I'm not, and trust me, I'm not trying to justify meth by any means.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I don't know enough about any of those.
For me, like I've been prescribed some sort of medication for ADHD for almost, 2 decades
Yeah.
plus. And it's been from Ritalin to Adderall to Vyvanse to so on and so forth, just because those amphetamines they tried to give me when I was a kid I mean, for one, it made me super fucking jittery. Didn't make me want to sit still like it was supposed to make me focus. And then another, it didn't let me eat. It didn't allow me to eat. I stayed the same weight for like a couple
I think
years.
there's a lot of people that they like lose weight when they're on that because they don't eat. I don't know anything about it.
Yeah. But yeah, that was another tangent.
Interesting though. At least it worked out for you. I thought you were going to say like, yeah, he just took your money and then you were also out of place to live. I'd be so pissed.
Yeah, at least it worked out. And you're lucky he didn't steal all your fucking belongings.
Yeah, for real. Okay, I have a few more. We can stop at any point because these next few are a little bit longer. So you just tell me we're at about 40 minutes.
Okay.
This one. This is actually about my friend's roommate, but that's hardly important. My friend's roommate comes stumbling into their dorm room freshman year. It's blatantly obvious that she's drunk beyond reason. She starts shouting, "I need to go to the bathroom," which wakes up my friend. She sees her roommate just staggering back and forth through the doorway. She stayed in bed because she really didn't know how to react. Her roommate returns through the door once more and reiterates that she needs to go to the bathroom. Before her roommate had time to go to the party, she had placed her white Mac laptop on her chair by her desk. The rationale here is that we believe the white from the laptop on the seat made the chair look like a porcelain throne in the mind of her drunken roommate. So she approaches the chair, pulls down her pants, and sits on her laptop. My friend braces herself because this situation can only go one way. As she braced for impact, her roommate releases a sigh of relief that unfortunately is synchronized with the release of her bladder and bowels. Despite her laptop being covered in piss and shit, her roommate denies that this has ever happened.
That's disgusting.
You have to... How could you even be that drunk?
I don't know.
I remember I wouldn't even say this was a house party, but there was a few people at a house and we were all drinking. And I've never... But it wasn't like a lot of people. Anyways, I've never seen so many people so drunk. There was a girl who puked red wine all over one of the beds, just completely soaked in red puke. And then this is what made me think of it. One of the guys like went to go puke in the bathroom, opened up a closet thinking it was the bathroom and just puked all over the closet. I've never been that drunk.
So that you've like not known where to throw up?
That's scary.
I've been that drunk a few times.
Your poor laptop.
You've picked me up a few times and I've been that drunk.
Not so drunk that you didn't know where you were.
That Rush game night.
You didn't know where you were?
I didn't know where my keys were the next morning.
Yeah, that's a
I didn't
different
remember
story.
what the hell happened really at all. I remember getting French toast sticks.
Oh my gosh. Guys, this is just going to be an episode of tangents, but TJ like goes to a Rush game with a couple friends, and Maxwell, if you're listening, shame on you for all the fireball shots. But they call me to come pick them up, and
Which was a good thing.
Well, thank God. If you guys would have drove, would have been pissed. But I drive up, and the first thing, they come to my window first and say, "We're so sorry." And I'm like, "What did you do?" Anyways, they like haul DJ into the car. They're all so drunk. And DJ's like, "Let's stop at Sonic. It's on the way." I'm like, "It's not on the way." "It is. I promise. If you go this direction, it's faster." I'm like, "No, it's not." He just keeps pushing for Sonic. I'm like, "Fine, we'll go to Sonic." He's like, "Yeah, actually wasn't faster, but I tricked you. Now we're in Sonic." So we're going through the drive-thru. Literally, it was probably 45 minutes. Remember, that was the longest.
I don't remember.
Oh my God, it was so long. I'm so irritated. He decides to get French toast sticks, has them for 2 seconds before there's syrup all down my door. It was like having a 2-year-old in my car. But then, anyways, so the next morning he wakes up. He's like, "I don't know where my keys are. I can't find them anywhere." He left them on the hood of his car back at the Civic Center.
Yeah.
So like so easily could have been stolen.
I thought my truck was gone.
And we got back there and we found him. And wasn't there like a guy working the parking lot who was like, "You're lucky.
Yeah.
You're freaking lucky."
And the backstory of why the keys were there, come to find out later, a cop had walked by and then we started talking about how you can get a DUI with your keys, even if we're just sitting here.
Oh, yeah, because you guys were just outside waiting for me,
Yes.
but you were by your car and you had your keys in your
And
hand.
I must have taken my keys and just tossed them, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, that was
Dumb,
funny.
dumb.
This is a little bit Ooh, this is a scary one, kind of. The worst story I have is just really creepy. She was a great roommate, but I couldn't sleep right for a month after. So it's literally the first night we're sleeping in the same room, so things are already a little awkward since we only know each other's names. But night falls and we go to sleep. I wake up to the sound of her yelling, "No, no, 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 no." And then she flings all of her blankets off of her bed and onto the floor. At this point, I'm freaked out, so I ask her if she's okay, and she doesn't reply. Instead, she sits up and looks around, sees the window, and kind of whispers, "Not the window." Then she stands up and walks to the window. At this point, I realize she must be sleepwalking or crazy. She gets to the window, grabs the lock with both hands, and is locking and unlocking the window over and over again while whispering to herself. She never opened it, but after 3 minutes of that, she lets go and says, "That'll do." And then she starts walking back to her bed. But when she's passing by my bed, she stopped and turned to face me. Then she just stood there and slept, I hope, staring at me for a good 2 minutes. Then she started whispering to herself again, walking past her bed to the door, dragged her hand down the middle of it, and turned around, walked to her bed, went back to sleep. Oh, creepy. I was terrified, but I never told her about it. She never did it again.
What? You never told her about that? I would have been out. No fucking way.
Not the window. I'd be like, oh my
Is
God,
this bitch gonna jump?
Is someone telling you to jump? And then
That'll
lock and
do.
unlock, that'll do.
That reminds me of that chick on Instagram that sleepwalks all the time, and her husband just
Oh, she's so funny.
so fucking fun. Do you think it's real?
I think so because she knows, doesn't she say that she knows what foods like trigger her sleepwalking? And then she has cameras
you're
all
right,
around
you're
her
right,
house.
You're right.
Also, some of the stuff that she does, I'm like, if she's faking it,
She's putting herself out there.
she's put herself out there. Also, she's bold for posting them. They're absolutely hilarious, but sometimes she'll like fart and then like look, like think someone else did it. Oh, they're so funny. I could watch her page forever. Oh no, that's scary. That would make me be like, we are not doing this again.
And was that who was that? Was it a friend?
No, they didn't know each other.
So why were they staying in the same room?
So I'm wondering if this is like a college dorm,
dorm?
situation because they're in the same room.
Okay, that would make sense. Yeah, I would be.
I would be talking to administration.
But yo,
Get me out of this room.
this chick's crazy.
Yeah. Okay, this one.
Where are we at with time?
This is our very last one, but it is a decently long one. We're at 48 minutes.
You might as well do it.
Okay. Well, here is my ex-roommate story. Dated a girl for a while. She moved in and we ended up breaking up. I let her stay and moved into one of the upstairs bedrooms because I made the mistake of feeling sorry for her. Fast forward a few years.
You let your ex live in your house for a few years?
Yeah. Fast forward a few years, in parentheses, yes, I'm a huge pushover and way too forgiving of people. I think she finally broke up with me after that. And I finally had to kick her ass out. It started small over the years, with her just being a general slob. However, she had the upstairs of the house more or less to herself. Large bedroom, her own full bathroom. Nobody ever went up there to bother her. Which, okay, why is she getting her whole own section of the house? Absolutely not. She also had a pet rabbit. I liked rabbits. They're cute and adorable. The rabbit, however, was not taken care of. She went back to Arizona for Christmas to visit family and asked me to watch the rabbit. Sure, no problem. I go up to check on the rabbit, give it food, water, clean cage, etc., and the upstairs looks like a crack house. There's trash everywhere, just piles of dirty dishes and food wrappers, just general trash. The bathroom looked like it had never been cleaned at all. Just layers upon layers of makeup residue and her hair and trash. The rabbit's cage was this tiny thing designed for small rabbits and was too small for this one, since she never let the rabbit out of the cage, and the entire cage was filled with rabbit crap. The nails on the rabbit were long enough you knew they hadn't been taken care of in a while. I was horrified, but me being stupid didn't immediately pick up a phone and bitch her out and tell her to keep her bags packed when she got back. No, I was stupid. I cleaned up upstairs, went out, built the rabbit a new, much larger cage, and took care of it. When she got back, I told her flat out it wouldn't happen again. Fast forward a few months, the rabbit's put down for being sick. She starts posting on Facebook about how sad she was. I sat there thinking, bitch, you didn't take care of it. Why are you sad? I even offered to help her take the rabbit cage down after it happened. She declined. Fast forward again. I'm wondering why all of a sudden the house is crawling with bugs. I start seeing ants and roaches in larger and larger numbers. Not cool. Then I start noticing an odor in the house, something rotten. I'm thinking something got in one of the attics and died, a squirrel or a mouse or something, and that's what caused this. So I venture upstairs and check one attic. Nothing. So I go to check the other side, which is accessible from the roommate's closet. I open the door, and the room is once again a disaster. Everything from blackened, shriveled banana peels to fast food bags to piles of dirty dishes and clothes and bugs crawling all over. I understandably was a bit upset. Even the rabbit's cage was still there, still filled with rabbit shit. I was confident she hadn't changed the litter from when she got back after Christmas to when the rabbit died. I told her flat out she needed to clean her room now, today, this instant, because I wasn't going to have the upstairs of my house become a garbage dump. She wasn't exactly happy with me, but I didn't give a fuck at that point. I stormed out and left for a bit before I snapped and did something I would really regret. So being my dumb self, I assumed that given the situation and context that the upstairs would then be cleaned, that I got the point across. So I go upstairs a few weeks later. How are you not ever noticing that a whole part of your house is disgusting? Go upstairs a few weeks later to change the air filter in the air AC system, and lo and behold, the room is not only still filled with the exact same shit it was before, there's new trash. I'm done at this point. I'm livid. I tell her when she gets home to clean the upstairs, pack her bags, and get out by the end of the week. She gives me a song and dance and sob story and all about how it will never happen again. You're right, it won't. You're not staying here. No one should be surprised when they find out I still ended up having to clean up the upstairs. The carpet was a loss, and the entire house had to be fumigated. I even had to repaint the walls to cover stains since nothing would get them off. I took pictures. There are episodes of Hoarders that looked cleaner. So if you're watching on YouTube, I'm going to post a link to the pictures of this.
Gross.
Do you want to see them?
Sure.
Because this guy was not joking.
Well, he's an idiot for letting this go on for as long as it did.
Yes, you're being way too much
I'd be
of a
checking
trooper.
freaking every other day if it was my house.
So I'm just gonna scroll.
Disgusting. Okay.
Some of these are kind of blurry, but you can
Disgusting.
get like the hint. Look
What
at
the
this.
fuck?
Like how absolutely disgusting is that?
That's the rabbit cage?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Look at how gross. Yeah. First off, the fact that anybody can be this
Disgusting.
dirty, how you can allow yourself to live like this, I don't understand. How you can sleep in a room
It's filthy.
with bugs crawling and food that has to smell so bad.
Yeah.
I just don't get it.
I don't
She
either.
probably grew up in a house that was like that. Maybe. I don't know. How do people end up like that?
I don't know. We lived in our own sewage for a couple months.
Okay, don't say it like we just had it on the floors. It was down below and we didn't know it was there.
It was cold, so it was frozen, and we didn't know until it started thawing out and started getting
And we
stinky.
started smelling. And
Yeah.
we were like, what died? Same situation.
Yep.
Something must have
I
died.
thought something died in the attic, and then I think one day because we were in the middle of a remodel, and I honestly thought a mouse. We had all of our belongings like shoved from all of our bedrooms into like the front of our house, and I figured that Conrad dragged a piece of food or
Yeah.
something died or a mouse is back there. I don't fucking know. I was just coming up with any excuse. We finally get the remodeling done. We put everything back,
And it
and
still smells.
we get everything cleaned, and I'm like, oh, okay, the house finally smells good. And then we come home from like a date or something, and it just smells like ass
And
still.
like, it did smell bad for sure, but it wasn't like, oh my God, this is awful. It was like you would walk in the door and you would smell it, and we're like, what is that? Like, why would our
It
house
smelled
smell?
like trash. It smelled like a
Yeah.
bad trash.
Yeah. And then I remember, so we're doing this home remodel, and we kind of remodeled everything except for the kitchen, knowing that that's going to be like the last thing. It's going to be maybe a little bit more expensive. And I remember that morning we're talking about the kitchen. Like, should we go look at cabinets or whatever? And
Yeah, because we were getting ready to pull the trigger on doing
yes,
the
because
kitchen.
we had like a little bit of money that we're like, okay, we could put, I don't know, a couple thousand or something towards this. And that same day, you're like, I'm just going to go to the crawl space and just see. And it was just
Fucking
filled with our own sewage.
disgusting.
And we never, long story short, we obviously never did the kitchen because we had to pay to obviously get it all cleaned up. What's it called?
For
Like,
what? Refurbished,
not
essentially. Or not
refurbished,
refurbished.
but basically making it like really clean
So
and
yeah,
sanitary again.
we had to get it all the sewage removed, and then we had to get all of that vapor barrier ripped out, everything. So then they go in, they spray this. It's like some sort of enzyme that eats all the bacteria, and they
Yeah.
go back in, they spray it again with sanitizer, and they go back in and they lay down new, I think lime, I think is what
Okay.
they throw all down in there, and then they throw the vapor barrier over that.
So that
now,
was its own thing. But then on top of it, we're told like, okay, your pipes are kind of, I don't remember exactly. Like basically when we moved into the house, we knew the pipes were really old.
the house was built in the 50s.
Yeah. They pretty much told us like, this could just happen again. Like you're probably better off to just replace the pipe. So that was a whole ordeal, and it was a lot of money.
Expensive. And if anybody is living in a house that has older pipes built a while ago in the 50s and hasn't had your sewer repair, definitely
Get the insurance.
get the insurance added on. We were under the impression that we had it because we had it with our prior insurance. But when we changed insurance, it didn't get added back onto our plan. And we didn't find that out until our sewer blew.
And I think it's like first home, you don't necessarily know like what should I pay to have it covered. Like I guess I just
But we knew that this could happen, though. We knew that this could possibly happen.
But I like ignorantly assumed we're paying all this for home insurance.
Mm-hmm.
Our pipes that are part of the home are going to be covered. I didn't. Obviously, it's our fault. We didn't do a ton of research.
Yep.
Anyways, make sure that that's on your policy because that would have saved us thousands of dollars. And then the worst,
they only ended up covering
like $1,400 of it or
like
something.
$1,400 of our $4,000 bill.
Yeah. Oh, it was rough. And then the worst part was that to get the pipes replaced, they were booked out for months. And we were like trying,
And we just finished our front yard. Our front yard was
my
gorgeous. Our front yard, we had this beautiful patio.
And this makes me so sad because my dad built this like really pretty little stone patio and we had to rip it all up and I felt so bad. Anyway, so we ripped it all up. We ripped it up. My mom and I did. Well, you did part of it. We did what we thought we needed to.
You guys did it. Yeah, you guys did it like a 4-foot section.
When I was fully like 9.5 months pregnant, like I thought that was going to put me into labor. They finally came and did it. I think 2 days before we were in like getting induced. It was cutting it so close, and so
they had it done in a day.
Yeah, but I just mean like we didn't leave ourselves any time to rebuild the lawn or the patio, and so
the summer's gonna be fun.
Yeah. So anyways, if you ever watch my YouTube videos, now you'll probably see that like the front part of our house is just like a muddy mess, and it's obviously not intentional, but that's what had to happen.
Hey, the grass is back though.
The grass is back.
I got that grass back really fast.
And it's going to be a family ordeal to put a patio back together.
Yeah.
But anyways, also the fact that we were living in this sewage house when I was pregnant
disgusting.
is like, that's probably not very sanitary. Going back to this story, that is brutal. Also, look, you can be a nice guy. You cannot be that much of a pushover. You cannot let other people take advantage of your space like that. That's
just you in general.
Real. That is all I have. Anything else you want to add?
No.
Okay, well, hopefully next week I won't be sick. My voice won't be as scratchy and sniffly. But thank you guys for listening. Don't forget to leave us a review. Go follow us.
Give us a like.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
We'll see you next time. Bye.